WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Kristen Bauman. Joining us in this segment, I have Jessica Franks, Recreation Director with the Taylorville Park District, joining us here in studio. Jessica, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for stopping in and filling us in on everything Park District-wise. There's quite a few things that we do want to talk about, but we want to start with kind of a recap with the Stone Cold Cowboys, another one of those community concerts that were had, and the unfortunate demise of the movie showing with Wicked, and just kind of talk about those things because Mother Nature has not been very kind to you lately.
No, I have had rain for every event this summer. So even the Taylor Swift concert absolutely just poured. And the movie, we did go ahead with it, but but it rained. And so then we had some rain with Stone Cold Cowboys. So it was very, very nice starting out. And the car show was out there with the 40 mile per hour club in small town Taylorville. So that was a huge success because they were counting roughly around 100 cars for the first one. And so that was pretty awesome to see. There was no reindeer in any of that. So everybody got out to enjoy that and the food trucks, and even, quite a bit into the concert before the rain started, probably an hour in. So we're rain for every event this summer. So
it's been kind of a mix of a bummer summer and a nice summer. I don't know. It's been strange. It's nice during the week, and then the weekends have been just kind of nasty. Some of these weekends. And I don't know. I guess it's just the summer that we have on hand. But I'm glad to hear. So about the first hour of the concert did go all right.
It did.
And then
it was great. Yes. And they're a great group of guys. They've been together for years. And you could tell they have some pretty amazing musicians there with their group. So it's good. And
that was the 90s country.
It was,
and
yes.
Was there anything that kind of stood out, like any artists that you're like, all right, I'm hanging the hat on?
I grew up on that. So I love everything about it. I feel like these concerts I pick stuff that, because I'll take anything, pop, rock, whatever. And so it's been awesome for me. But 90s country, really, I grew up on it, so I loved it all.
Yeah, 90s country is probably the best. It's a good time for country. We'll leave it at that.
It was.
So I'd imagine that was a pretty good event. And any other events that have happened that maybe aren't on my radar right now that I'm kind of missing? Anything else?
Well, they had the PDGA tournament. It was on Saturday, and those guys, their rain, sleet, hail, shine, they don't care. And so it was pretty awesome to see, because Dinner Season with Love was actually out there doing one of their dinners, also moved it inside, but boy, those guys just stay out there and keep going. So there was quite a few of them out there all day on Saturday. So that was awesome.
And was that the first of the season?
That was the first one. The second one I still haven't heard back on, but it's going to be later in the fall anyway. So yes.
Going back to the rain, sleet, snow, or shine, maybe those boys will be getting something a little different. But the pro disc golf, our guy of old, Tim, he certainly would have liked to have heard about that. So I don't know, maybe that didn't get passed on to him. I might need to make sure.
Or he could have been out there.
Maybe secretly.
There were a lot.
I wouldn't blame him, for sneaking in and out. When it comes to the Stone Cold Cowboys and all the things in terms of getting that put on, a donation kind of came for 20,000 plus to be able to make that free to the public. And I think that's something we kind of want to touch on again here today, is just like how special that kind of is.
It really is an amazing gift. This group, the Taylorville Tourism Council, they were active for many years. They are no longer active, but they had actually retained all of that money. A lot of times you hear some pretty crazy stuff about what happens when things dissolve, but they held on to every bit of that. And so this is kind of their last big thing that they did. So Carol Alexander has led that and then made that contribution to the Park District to be able to cover all of these concerts for this summer. So it's been pretty awesome to see them all come together this easily. So now I start to look for the sponsors for next year, and it's a lot easier if it's one person covering all of them rather than trying to find 3 to 6 different sponsors.
I can definitely imagine. And so while that's certainly appreciated, now coming back around, it's already the thought of how do we get this back around next year. For you, that probably doesn't slow down.
It doesn't stop. They book a year out, and some of these bands we brought in, we booked last summer. So
I don't know if I fully realized that part. So now, so now the ball's rolling already.
It already is. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That checks out with me. Anything else in terms of recap or different events? Excuse me. Anything that I've missed over the last month or so?
No, really, just all of the stuff as usual. Red Bland is finished up. They have finished up their season. I mean, softball is still out there playing. There's just same old things. We have senior lunch every single month, and the kids are kids, still have their dance. They've been out doing their practice for Special Olympics and things like that. So there are a lot of things that go on at the park all the time that never change. And then there are special events that we always want to push and promote. But yeah.
And why not? We got the time to do so. And so nice to hear about the last month or so, and unfortunate though with the rain.
Yes.
I'm about tired of it. And again, here today, I'm tired of it again.
Yes.
For you, we do want to talk a little bit about the Manners Park pool. I've been hearing different things. Our guy Reed over there has been covering some of those special meetings and stuff too, and filling us in on what's going on with the Manners Park pool. Can you kind of take us through, let's say, the bid from Burbatch to now?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Right. That came in significantly higher than what we anticipated. And of course, a lot more than what we would ever be able to afford. So that was turned down. So we're in the process of just trying to find a new contractor that's going to be able to do that job. We've seen two pretty amazing designs. Both of them, Taylorville would be very lucky to have. I know people are upset about the pool being closed, but I think when you see what we are going to do now, moving to a new company that is going to be significantly less expensive, something that we can afford and not overextend the park district with. And there are more amenities there than we could have ever imagined with the initial design. So it's going to be pretty great. And I know people will be happy once they see it. And once we select a new company, we'll be able to release that design so everybody will see. And I think be very excited.
Okay. So because from my understanding, we were about at $8 million.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden Burbatch comes back and it was 13.
It was almost 13. Yes.
But that contract was signed. As far as I understand it, with Burbatch, that was moved forward, or at least a payment was made to them.
Yes.
And now, as far as I understand, and I hope we can kind of clear it up for listeners, it sounds like we've got to kind of get out of said
working towards doing that, and totally not my arena. I know our board has been working with them, and our attorneys have been working with that. So I don't think that it was something that we were locked into. So we're just exploring other options, because that option is clearly not something that we're going to be able to afford in our community.
Well, $5 million extra is no small chunk of change. I mean, that's more than half of what you had already originally expected.
Yes.
That's hard to drum up additional support for.
Yes.
And I understand that is not your arena. I get that. And so, but I appreciate you just entertaining it.
Absolutely.
As far as I know, again, and I sound like I'm talking more about myself than I ever do. Two companies have already submitted bids.
Well, not bids, but just that they would like the job.
Gotcha.
They would like to make a presentation for us to see. They've already given us a lot of basic information. Then it's just the board deciding which one they would like to go with.
Gotcha. So. Okay, so not bids, just
not yet.
Formal requests almost of entertain me at least.
Very much, yes. Okay. Exactly.
And so the two that have come in, though, the dollar amounts are very much where we were.
They're
thinking
back
originally.
In our budget, yes. So we're back starting with a 7 or an 8, which is attainable. That's what we have. So we don't want to run into where we end up, going for another $1 million or $2 million in a loan. We don't want to overextend the park district in that way.
And again, I might be getting you out of your ballpark here.
You're okay.
There was originally with Burbatch, it was, well, we've got to dump the pool, not in the pond behind behind it. We've got to actually send it through sanitation lines and dispose of it. And we also need to improve the water lines even going to the pool. Are these things that these companies are still saying, or is that not even?
Both companies have actually said they were not necessary. So we cannot dump in the pond. Like, that is something that is EPA regulated now at this time. Whenever the pool was built, it wasn't like that, but it is now. So those regulations will still apply, but the lines that we have are sufficient for what we need, is what both companies are saying. So exactly.
All right.
If they could see our faces, they would. But yes.
And some can. If you'd like, you can always visit us on YouTube or Facebook and do so. But sometimes we forget that there is a camera over there. That does not sound real great. I do not love that to hear that. But when it comes to two new folks coming in and saying, this is not what we need. Let's get you in this budget that you've
Yes.
originally set. That is where we need to be headed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the best, trying to be the best steward of the money that we have. And we want the community to be happy with it, and they're going to be happy with this.
In terms of completion date, now I know that things are probably slowly but surely kind of getting pushed back further.
Yes.
And that's going to be inevitable at this point.
It is.
To me, my assumption would be probably not next year, but maybe the year after.
It is looking that way. Both companies, I mean, they're very eager to get going on the work, but with permits and things like that, a state permit, you're looking 3 to 5 months just for a state permit. So it's just really not looking like something that's going to be possible. But again, once you see the design of the pool and all of the amenities that are going to be added in, you'll see why it's probably not going to be done in time. It's going to be awesome. I think people are going to like it a lot.
I know we were thinking like a splash pad. I know we were thinking
splash pad remains. I mean, we had received a grant to cover that portion.
Gotcha.
So the splash pad stays. Then the pool and looks like the zero depth and stuff that we were going to be losing is going to stay. So just a whole lot of really fun, very tall things are going to be added in.
Cool.
And I think it's going to be a lot more focused on the community as a whole, a lot of families, but there's still going to be that aspect where the pool, where the swim team can have competitions and things like that, areas for all of the classes and swim lessons. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
And to find that it's in the budget again,
yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So I think people will be appreciative to hear that as well. I think
yes.
there were some calls for concern with that as well, and where people just didn't know what was quite going on.
Right.
And I know that, again, it's not exactly your wheelhouse, but I appreciate you filling us in
yes.
And our listeners in here as well today. We're speaking with Jessica Franks, Recreation Director of the Taylorville Park District, letting us know about Manners Park Pool and a recap of the last month or so. We're going to jump into some different things when we come back around. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM. WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us is Jessica Franks, Recreation Director with the Taylorville Park District. And we'd like to turn our attention to an upcoming event that Jessica has worked very hard to put together. And that is, again, another movie coming to the park. What's the movie, the day, and what's going to be kind of going on?
So that's this coming Friday, the 25th. And this is Mufasa, the live action one that just came out of theaters not too long ago. And this evening is sponsored by Walmart. So it's pretty awesome to see companies like that come in and start doing stuff like this too, because it's great. I went into Walmart. They had signs everywhere promoting it. So I'm really excited to see it. And just looks like rain in the forecast. Here we are talking about rain again, but just hoping that kind of moves on through, because I would love to see this be a successful event for them.
And just a nice night.
Yes.
Just a nice night, even if it's 74, 75
We'll
by
take
9,
it.
you would take that
Yes.
compared to, getting absolutely poured on. So,
Yes.
which has seemingly been, it's either we're getting poured on or we're not getting any rain. I don't
Exactly.
know. There's no in between right now. So Friday, July 25th,
Mhm.
Friday, July 25th, this Friday, Mufasa, the live version,
Yes.
is going to be shown. And that starts about 7.
It's actually going to start at 8. Our
Okay.
first one had started at 7, and we realized it is still way too bright outside. So it has been moved to 8 o'clock. So yes, 8 o'clock under the Chautauqua, free popcorn for everybody, sponsored by Walmart.
That's really, and we've talked about Walmart coming on and doing something like
Yes.
this, but to when you think about a mega corporation
Hmm.
helping host something here in
Right.
small town Taylorville,
Yes.
it kind of stands out.
It's
too.
great. It's great to see.
And the fact that they've got some stuff up already in Walmart about it.
Yes.
Pretty cool. One other thing, and before we run out of time here, you work very hard with the Christmas in the park, and
Yes.
there are some changes and there's some things that we're wanting to kind of implement and make better.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, what can you tell us about Christmas in the
Well,
park?
I've got a couple of new things already scheduled. We have been talking about this and talked about it numerous times last year, and I finally reached out to see about doing, because we've always had 2 nights of Jingle Bell Walk where it's closed and you just walk through. So I finally reached out Battery Specialist and asked them what they thought about doing something, because these other communities have tees on trees and things like that with golf carts where you drive through, and they loved it. She said they had been talking about doing something like that for years, and we're just waiting on the call. So we're going to have on December 3rd is the Jingle Bell Walk, but Jingle Bell Roll will be the next day on December 4th. So that's when your family is going to be able to actually rent one of the golf carts and drive through the lights for Christmas in the park. So of course, that's going to be very contingent on the weather, but of course we could move it to another day if it looked like it got bad, but still pretty early in December. So hopefully it's probably going to be cold, but I think it'll be awesome. And I think the public's going to really like it. So
12-3, 12-4, 12-3 Jingle Bell Walk, 12-4 Jingle Bell Roll.
Yes. And then we'll start drive through that next day, the Friday, the December 5th. So then you'll have every single day, and the park board has actually voted to extend Christmas in the park. It had always ended on Christmas Day, but they have actually voted to extend it out. So the last night is going to be Sunday, December 28th. So a lot of people that have family that come the day after Christmas or the weekend after, they're still going to be able to enjoy Christmas in the park even after Christmas. So a lot of people had asked for it. We're going to try it out and see how well attended it is. And hopefully if it's something you really want, you're going to come through, because that's how you're going to get it next year.
Sure thing. So
Yes.
Nice to hear some updates on that. And again, that's just hard work being put in and has to be early.
Mhm.
Jessica, thanks for joining us here
Yes,
today.
thanks for having me.
Jessica Franks, Recreation Director with the Taylorville Park District, here on the WTIM Morning Show.